Hello and welcome to Women Who Lead. It is Women's History Month, and I want to take a moment to acknowledge all the great women who have been trailblazers and have fought for equal rights, for the right for us to vote, and for the many opportunities that some of us take it granted for about today. And I'm so excited that today's episode is going to highlight two women who are making history and who are considered luminaries in real estate. Their reach, their influence, and the magnitude of their accomplishments places them as revered mentors to many in the industry. And I'm your host, Teresa Palacio Smith, and I'm Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for Home Services of America and HSF affiliates. And this show is a passion for me. And now it has become a podcast too. And so I hope you get a chance to catch the podcast as well. So as many of you already know, my family's originally from Colombia, South America. And one of the things that we're known for, and when we get together with friends and acquaintances, we always get together. There's always a cup of coffee, un cafecito. And that's the way that we get to know each other better. And today we're going to have a cafecito with our luminaries to get to know them a little bit more and really kind of understand about what drives them and the impact that they have had in the lives of many. So each of our guests has really changed or impacted the organizations that they and the environments that they allow for growth and opportunities. And the main thing I've heard of both of these women is that they illuminate other women in the industry. Our guests today include Liz Noonan, who's the CEO and president of Houlihan Lawrence, which operates both residential and commercial brokerages with 30 offices across New York City's northern suburbs, comprising of the most extensive real estate service in the region with 1,450 agents. And by the way, that's my backyard. Liz, I was born in New York, so I'm excited to see you on the show. And as president and CEO and a worldwide reputation to the role, Liz offers a unique perspective that combines knowledge and experience in broker management, operations, corporate relocation, and in the luxury real estate market. A licensed real estate broker, which is really crucial in the role that you're in. Liz has served on the board of directors for the National Association of Realtors. She's also served for the board of directors of the Hudson Gateway MLS. And she's also a recipient of many awards, including leading RE's Real Estate Hall of Fame. And that is impressive because I know how hard it is to get that award. And I met Liz when I first joined Home Services of America. And I remember that. And, one of the things that I'm so impressed by is that Houlihan Lawrence, the company that she runs, consistently ranks as one of our top 10 companies in our organization. And one of my favorite, Martha Mosier, who is the CEO of VHHS California, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services California Properties, is always telling me that how you impact her and the inspiration that you have impacted her in her life and others as well as. So again, welcome to the show. Linda Scherer. Linda is the founder, and yes, the founder and chairwoman of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Network Realty with 9 offices and 500 agents. And today is one of the top 25 companies in the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Network. And in 1988, Linda received numerous honors, including Prudential's Real Estate Award, which she got among 14,000 affiliate members. First Coast Business Hall of Famer, Ultimate CEO Hall of UNF Distinguished Business Leader Award, as well as Top Woman-Owned Business by the Jacksonville Business Journal and Women of Influence Lifetime Achievement Award. That's pretty a mouthful. She was also recognized on Florida Trends Florida 500 list, honoring the state's most influential business leaders in 2019 and in 2020. Linda also happens to be the mother of the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Christy Budnick. And I will never forget when I first interviewed Christy for the Women Who Lead show, as well as our podcast. the person she mentioned that influenced and inspires her to this day the most is you, Linda. So it is an honor to have you on the show as well. So you can see why these women are luminaries. So let's get started. And one of the things that I always ask is real estate is typically a field that most people get into after they've done a different career, right? So how did you get into this industry, Linda? I'm going to start with you and then Liz with you as well.
Great. Well, thank you again for having us today. And this will be fun because such good information coming from everyone. But I'm a bit unusual in that way, Teresa, in that I was a Navy wife in the 70s, and I moved to Hawaii. We bought our first home, and within a matter of days, my husband was deployed to Vietnam for 8 months. So I got to close on that home right by myself. And that was our very first home, as I said. So that was a very sobering situation for me, even though we had a great realtor. And sitting at that closing table, I said, I'm obligating my family to so much by signing this paperwork. And it was a $30,000 home. And I was really concerned. And it has a very happy ending, this story, because 2.5 years later, we sold the home for $60,500. And as a naval officer, you could have never saved that much money. And I said, when I get back to the mainland, I'm going to get a real estate license, and I'm going to help other people do exactly as we did. So it was a thirst for the knowledge about real estate. So you had confidence in what you were doing and wanting to help, our friends do the same in the military.
Well, that's fantastic. What a beautiful story. And the fact that you were the family, right? A Navy family and worked in the, your family worked as a vet, but also the fact that is the path to generational wealth. We talk about it on a regular basis, and it really is for so many people, and so, again, real estate is always a great investment. And Liz, how about you? How did you get into the real estate industry?
Well, real estate was really never a career I had given any thought to. I had gone to college, got my BA in English literature, and thought that my dream job was to get into publishing. And I worked with a headhunter, but also back in those days, you searched for jobs through the classified ads. And so I'd been made an offer to become a proofreader for a scientific magazine, which sounded pretty boring to me. And through the classifieds, I'd been made an offer to become a rental agent for a property management company. And so not only did the rental position pay more in a base salary, but it offered a commission based on closed units. And, as a recent college grad who was looking to be able to live on my own and still be able to afford to go out with my friends, I made the obvious choice. And from that start of renting apartments, I got the real estate bug because it was fun. And also, if you worked hard, the earning potential was kind of open-ended. And I learned that quickly. So from there, I moved on to 2 different real estate brokerages and worked in Pennsylvania and Maryland before moving to New York to join Houlihan back in '97.
So you actually did start in the real estate industry right away, which is amazing. Had you known right back then, you would have started, that would have been your degree, right?
Right, exactly.
Very, very cool. And I know one of the things that you and I have in common, but I've also found that a lot of our leaders have this quality in common, is that they actually worked in the relocation business. In fact, I just interviewed I interviewed, Mary Lee Blaylock. She's had relocation industry. Leslie Ruta Smith started in relocation at Ebby Holiday when she first moved to Texas. So that obviously has some kind of little magic to it. Why do you think? What is it that having that background prepares you for leadership as it, or do you think it does?
I do think it does. Corporate relocation and business development is all about problem solving and strategizing and relationship building and, quite frankly, lots of public speaking. So I would say it was a great training ground. I'll also say I was fortunate to be with a company where the broker owners allowed me to continue to challenge myself to grow. So I always volunteered to get involved in other aspects of the company. I helped launch our title company. I created our social media strategy when that all came into play. I've helped train our agents on our global luxury affiliations and planned company-wide events. So I think offering my assistance in every area of the company really kind of helped me to become very well-rounded.
Oh gosh, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think the piece that I think is also so critical, because we do represent our agents, across the country, is that we also understand that business, the referral fees, all the things that kind of come with our business that really impact the bottom line of our agents, right? So I think having that knowledge and understanding that, right, really does help. And by the way, I also came out of the relocation business and business development as well. So I thought that was very interesting. And Linda, I know that you have done something very unique. You were a realtor, you started a company, you joined a franchise, eventually sold your company to Home Services America. And so that's a huge role. Tell me, was this your plan from the very beginning when you were thinking about it? And how did you realize this for others that might think, wow, what a great way to, do the things that you've done and that may want to follow your path?
Well, when you say it like that and you look back on my career, you think, boy, she really had a plan. But I can tell you it was anything but that. And I think you just have to seize the opportunities that come by and make the most of them. And you also have to love what you do. And I think that's a key component of it. My career, as you said, was realtor. And then, oddly enough, relocation director that you just mentioned.
You too. Wow.
Yeah, and then did site work where I was managing the old DuPont mansion at Epping Forest, and then I had a great opportunity when Prudential decided to get into residential real estate, and had a wonderful career with them for 25 years, and then had the very good fortune of working with Berkshire Hathaway and handling working with them with our company. And that was a tremendous opportunity to work with a company that's so respected globally. So that was really extraordinary for me and for our company and for all of our great associates. So it was an evolution. It was not a vision. I wish I could say it was, but it really just evolved, and I seized the opportunities as they came by.
Well, I think the insight is also that as you look at your own companies, I think it's a bright, there's something that you have to think about long-term goals that now seeing, somebody with your talents and what you did, maybe I can duplicate this, right? This is something I need to think long-term as I, look at growing my company to the level and then selling it, right, to an organization like Home Services America, which can be very exciting and very lucrative as well, because that legacy continues on for all of the realtors that represent the brand. So what advice, both of you, you've done real estate, and there's a lot of new people that are getting into real estate right now. You hear interest rates are going up, you hear inventory is tight, you hear all of the scenarios, yet we still know that real estate is the best investment, especially because home became such a critical piece more than ever during the last 2 years when we realized what home really meant. So what advice would you give someone that was entering real estate today? Liz, I'll start with you.
Okay, I would say, be a sponge. I know that it's been difficult, that many people are there, in some instances, many people, agents aren't going into the offices as much as they used to. But at least I can say at our company, at Houlihan Lawrence, our most successful agents and teams never stopped working out of their offices, except for when we couldn't, because we were closed by, of course, the government. But I think newer agents should spend as much time in the office as they can, offer to help experienced agents who may, appreciate the help, and then really just be a sponge. Listen to how they speak with their clients, watch how they market themselves, offer to sit open houses, be as active as you can, and just try to learn. I think that I see some really great, newer, hungry agents do just that, and they get some of their first breaks from top agents who are willing to share little pieces of something with them, and it helps them to learn. And so trying to saddle up to a top agent is a great way to get started.
Oh, wow. I love that. How about, and that is so true because, the dynamics of the real estate office, and, you hear from so many brokers, Vince Lacey, for example, with our brand, how incredible it is to be around other people that you're hearing their successes, you're hearing their failures too, because you don't always get every listing you go on, or you may mess up that call because you said it wrong, or, oh God, so you didn't know how to respond back. And it all takes practice, practice, practice. So Linda, how about you?
Well, I couldn't agree more, Liz, with your statement. And I think honing your communication skills are so important so that you can really communicate well. I think you should harness technology, but not be a slave to it. And when you get to a certain point, I think the most important thing is for you to get someone to take that piece of your business and do it for you, but you stay involved with technology. You don't, completely turn it over, but you certainly want to give the best service to your client. And, that means delivering a good piece of technology to it to help them make that decision. Most importantly is getting the right foundation. Our agents laugh and say, when are you going to let me get out to sell some real estate? You train. But I think that good foundation means so much. It gives them confidence, and it certainly keeps them out of trouble too. But it really is the foundation for their future. And then be a lifelong learner. Take advantage of all the podcasts, the seminars, and the training that your company offers, because that can really see you in good stead. And to Liz's point, be a sponge. Thanks.
Oh, I love it. Well, one of the things too is that people get into our business, they see the success that agents have in the industry. Maybe some get success right away. Some of them may take time. But the one thing they don't always see or realize is that we also make mistakes, right? There are things that happen that that we have to recover from. And so is there a mistake, Liz, that you might want to say, I did this and it was a mistake, but I learned from it, that you'll share with us?
Yeah, it was funny. I was thinking about it, and I don't know, it was hard to pinpoint just one because I'm sure I'm still making mistakes. But I guess I would say, and this is from a management perspective, like stay away from toxic people. I think we've all kind of worked with them at one point or another. Someone who's always strategizing to get ahead by taking somebody else down. And those people are what I call culture killers. And when you realize that you have a situation like that happening, don't ignore it and hope that it will go away, because it won't. And I did that once, and I let a situation linger longer than I should have. And that was definitely a mistake. But you learn from every mistake, like you said, and I definitely learned from that one.
Oh, what great advice, because we do sometimes, our best friends are our own insecurities, right? And it can linger. And I've learned that same thing. The more positive people that you're around, things happen, right? Because you're constantly, that positive energy helps you continue on when things don't always go the right way. So for you, Liz, Linda, one thing that I really have to admire is with Christy, right? Because she came to a point where she was approached, and she was currently very comfortable, right? She was the president and CEO of of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Network Properties, and she was approached by Gino and said, "Hey, we'd like for you to run our whole franchise arm." So what advice did you give her?
I'll never forget, that was over a weekend. So it was a very spirited and lively weekend, let me tell you. And I think that quote where it says, in the end, we only regret the chances that we didn't take. And I think that is so true. Christy is she really loves a fast momentum. She's very decisive. She enjoys a challenge. And we made a list of all the reasons that would be a problem if you took a huge job like that. And of course, there is the element of what if you get in it and you're not suited for it? You know, we all have those insecurities that we think of. And we both agreed that it was really the right time and she was the right person. And I think the biggest thing that I heard at the summit meeting was she's so approachable. She has walked in our shoes. I mean, she's managed an office recently. She's been, the CEO and president. She understands the business and, more importantly, loves it. So it was very important for someone, I think, to come out of the field, per se, to head this great entity up, because she really understands the business and they appreciate that about her.
Right. Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Not only that, but she's a mother, right? So she understands that, there are roles that we have, right? And balancing life, and work as well. And then the fact she also has that mortgage background too, which is really crucial too, because she had that experience and understanding how mortgages work and help,
Exactly.
also as we lead our organization as well. So one of the things we're going to get personal is to find out more about challenges or things that have ever happened to you. And I have myself found times where I have found it difficult to break into an inner circle of executives. Sometimes in our industry, especially at the top, it's really difficult to do that. So I'm going to take this question to you, Liz. What advice would you give someone that is having a tough time breaking in order to help them make strides?
Sure. Well, I would say be prepared to spot those growth opportunities when they present themselves. Just always be focused and do the work. Be yourself and be authentic. I think that's one of the things that I don't know, that is one of my qualities. It's like what you see is what you get. And I'm very authentic and real and approachable. I would say also just try to always be a role model in whatever, position you're in. Be it, do it the best that you can. Believe in yourself and what you're capable of, but also cultivate relationships. I think, most people love to help others and help them to succeed and grow. So, look to develop strong relationships with people that can potentially help you.
And what great advice. And one thing I'll never forget, this advice was given to me because I was having a hard time in my role when I was involved in an organization. It was all men that were on the leaders, and they would always go off to events, and I'd be like, okay, I'm the only, woman in this group. I feel kind of weird. I don't know what to do. And I remember I asked one of the guys that was a good friend, and he said, just invite yourself, just come. That's what I do. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, they don't always invite me to things. So I just hey, I'm tagging along. And I'm telling you, that worked, because from that moment, I'm just like, where are we going? I would just do it automatically. And it was like to the moment where, oh, you're coming with us? Yeah, I'm coming with you. So it was almost like that whole thing just helped me break through because it just helped cement that hey, I'm one of you, and I want to just get involved. I don't want to miss out on anything. So I kind of joined, even when they went out in taxi cars. I don't smoke, but I was out there with them. So again, just doing what helps get in. And sometimes you just have to invite yourself to the table, right? Yep. Otherwise you get left out. So one of the things, and that was something that advice was fabulous. So I wanted to share it as well. So tell me, as far as role, positions, because Liz, you've had several roles and you talked about each one of them. And I find it very fascinating. When do you know it's the right time to move on to a new opportunity? Because you get so comfortable, especially in relocation, right? A lot of us stay in that business because it is a great business and there's a lot of knowledge and you get to meet a lot of people and all. So when do you know, hey, I need to try something new and move on to something else?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said something about your comfort level. It's once you're really comfortable in that role, it's time to move on, because if you're like me, you want to always be challenged with something and you don't want to feel stale in your role. So when you feel like you've not necessarily mastered what you're doing, because we all still grow every single day. But I think just when you're to the point where you're really comfortable, it's time to start thinking about, perhaps the next step for you, to get out of your comfort level.
Mm-hmm.
Linda, how about you?
I couldn't agree more, because if you are comfortable, then you're not growing as much, and you really need to kind of do a self check and think, okay, if I'm this comfortable, of course, starting a company, I got to do all the different roles. And I always said I'd really like to hire myself for marketing because I enjoy that so much. But I think truly relocation was probably one of the things that I enjoyed more along the way. But yes, absolutely. If you're not growing, you're going backwards. So definitely do that.
Yeah, I love it. I always say if you are the new role scares you to death, that means that you're ready for that. Because a lot of times you just got to get scared to death, even if that's the matter, to try something new.
It's true.
Learn, right?
And you're never totally prepared. I mean, people will say, how were you prepared for? Well, you're not. You jump in and you go with it, and you learn as you go, for sure.
Oh, wow. So who were your role models, Linda? Who made the biggest impact in your career, or mentors? Because I think that's really important today.
It is today. And I it's hard to just name a couple because there are so many. You certainly don't get where you are in any field without a lot of help. But and people that you admired. I think Dr. Fran Kinney is a woman that I admired so much, and she was such a great friend of mine. She was the first female president to a university in the Southeast, and it happened to be right here in Northeast Florida. And she just passed away in 2020 at 100. Just in a few days, she would have been 103.
Oh,
so
wow.
we had, the whole city had a love affair with her because she was so invigorating, and she gave you just the most wonderful sage advice. I would have regular lunches with her, and she was very spirited. So that was a great mentor. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention my partner, Tom Petway, who is such a great leader. And to this day, we are tremendous friends, Tom and his wife, Betty. And he gave me the money to start the company. He had that faith in me, which, that kind of thing is a blessing and a burden because you don't want to let anyone down. But just the way he leads, he's humble, he's bright, and he's been there for me for 34 years. So, a great, great friend and mentor.
What a great person to have in your life. Wow. Thank you for that, both of those individuals. How about you, Liz?
Well, of course, I would say my mom was a huge role model for me. She was a teacher, worked hard every day. I think I definitely inherited her work ethic. But I was also really blessed to have numerous amazing mentors, most of them female, almost at every turn throughout my career. I could literally name one at each job I've had throughout my career. So my first mentor when I did rentals taught me everything I know about providing exceptional customer service. My next mentors were at two different real estate companies that I worked for, and they each taught me everything about sales and then relocation. One of my mentors from the last 20 years, though, is somebody that many people in real estate and relocation know, and that's Pam O'Connor, who is the former CEO of leading real estate companies of the world. And I, like many others, just learned so much from her over the years. She is so giving of her time and her knowledge, and she's just an amazing woman that I always admired, and I feel so lucky to call her, my friend.
Oh, and Pam is somebody that I also admire. Kathy Connolly, who was one of my mentors, and Pam are very close friends, so I got to see Pam a lot when she would come to Atlanta for our gatherings, right? She's an amazing person. So that's great. Thank you for sharing. And sometimes people, the message I want people to know too, because sometimes people say, well, I don't know who, does mentor you regularly? And it's not necessarily that. So find someone, if you don't have somebody that, can take that has the time, because a lot of times it's a time commitment that you respect or admire. Follow what they do and learn from them, because now it's so easy. You've got podcasts, you've got all of these different resources that are available to you that you can really follow people very easily in our industry. So I think that's great. Thank you so much, Liz, for sharing. So let me find out from you, what would you consider your biggest or most greatest accomplishment? Linda, let me start with you.
Oh, that's an easy one. It would definitely be my two daughters. I'm so proud of both of them, and they are great, savvy business women. And of course, you all know Christy. My other one is Kim, and she is an art advisor and has clients all over the globe. So, and they are very close, which pleases me tremendously. And then, of course, my third baby would be the company, because to this day I love it so much, just like a part of me. So those would be my best accomplishments for sure.
Beautiful. Liz, how about you?
I would say similar, raising my beautiful, kind-hearted stepdaughter. Chandler lived with my husband and I through middle school and high school and part of college, and then even after college. And while even she says that I had her for her worst years, those teenage years, she's grown up to be just a smart, caring, and responsible young woman. And I'm just so proud of her.
Oh, beautiful. I love it. I think about that and my kids, and I totally have to agree with both of y'all. It's going to make me cry because I just love my children so much. What are your, what are something that people don't know about you? And I found something out about you, Linda, which I was surprised. Thought was so cute. So tell me, what is something that people, might not know or be surprised to learn about you? Because sometimes we, think of, oh, they're so structured or but something that people may not know. And Liz, I'll start with you.
Well, I don't know. I said earlier, I'm kind of like an open book, but what you see is what you get. But I would say maybe people would be surprised to know that I was a band geek in high school. I played the oboe and the flute and the glockenspiel, which is basically a set of bells. And I was horrible at all three of them, but I loved being in the orchestra. And it was so fun and important to me, as bad as I was.
Well, I envy you because that's something I always wanted to do and never had the talent to do it. So
I didn't have the talent, trust me.
I couldn't even make it to the not talent, to even that threshold. So that's great. How about you, Linda?
I'm fascinated that Liz persevered through 3 different instruments, though. If she wasn't terrific at it, I admire that, Liz. Well, I have 2 things, actually. My uncle had a band, and we grew up in Miami, and I used to play the drums with Buddy Claude and his orchestra, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. It's great for getting frustrations out and having a great time and really having fun. And it's amazing how many of our agents play instruments, and we keep saying we should get a band together, And the second one, I think, is the one that Teresa thought was funny, because growing up in Miami, you had a lot of opportunities where people would come and ask you to be in a commercial or model. And I was one of many, and I stress the word many, copper tone babies. So when you see that billboard with that copper tone baby on it, we all looked a lot alike. Blonde curls, bathing suit, the whole bit. But that was a lot of fun. And I enjoyed it, even though I was young at the time.
That's so funny. I think that's so cute. Something, a little known fact about you. So let's go through some of the challenges, because people, don't always, again, they see the success that you are. But what are some challenges that you had in your journey that, especially as it pertains to balancing family life, because that is a struggle for a lot of people that are in the roles that you're in. So what struggles, or what were some of those challenges that you can also relate to others? Linda, I'll start with you.
Okay. When I read that question, I thought, oh, this is funny, because Christy would love the opportunity to tell you how many street corners I left her on and was late to pick her up. And she would seize the opportunity to do that. We laugh about it because I say it built character, and she wouldn't be who she is today without having that character. So I always flip it around on her. But it's very hard to have balance. And sometimes I think it evolves and it moves. You know, one day you're the mother of the year, and the next day you're running errands and late, and you're with a client until it's dark. And so I think you just have to know that you are doing the very best you can, and you have to put support mechanisms in place. You can't have it all on your shoulders. You have to have people that help you, and you have to plan ahead for that, whether it's to pick someone up from a bus stop or to, clean your house for that matter. So I think it's important that you get a team in place, and whether it's relatives or someone you hire, and it won't ever be perfect, but just know that, and your kids know that you're doing all you can at the moment in that time.
Wonderful. I love that. How about you, Liz?
I would say I'm fortunate. I have an understanding partner. My husband's so supportive of me and my career, and he's, frankly, my biggest cheerleader. So I never have to apologize for working late or working on weekends. And he knows that I absolutely love what I do. But it's also a two-way street. So I'm supportive of him and his career too. But we do try to make time for each other as much as we can, whether it's going down to the Jersey Shore for the weekend, or just doing long walks, or cooking at home on the weekends. There never is enough time during the week to cook nice meals during the weekdays. But on the weekends, we try to do that because it's something that we enjoy doing together. But same thing, when my stepdaughter was growing up with us, it was, working late, and I don't know how many times I served that poor child macaroni and cheese, but she loved it, so it was okay. And same thing, running off to Michael's, the craft shop at 9:30 at night, trying to get there before they close because of a last minute project that she forgot about or we forgot about. But it's, you never find that perfect balance, but it does somehow all work.
Well, and I think what has taught us now today, especially with so many, women working from home, right, and businesses out of our homes, that you're balancing your kids. You see all the commercials that kids are coming into the picture and they're, interrupting. And so it's become really, truly very real, right, for all of us too. And so I think people are more accepting and realizing that is critical. So don't forget, everyone out there, that is part of who we are. And that's what makes us very beautiful and very unique. So I love the fact that you've shared your experiences. And certainly my kids can tell you, last one's always to be picked up from daycare, and they always hated it. They always say that was their worst thing. So we're almost out of time. It's just been so much fun. I can't believe it. So what book or training, because I know we all are constantly doing a lot of training, and I do believe that it's really important for us to really invest in ourselves. So any books or any trainings that you would recommend for others that influence you as a businesswoman? And Liz, I'll start with you.
Sure. Well, I think there have been many books that I've liked, but one of my favorites is The Go-Giver. In the book, the main character learns that when he focuses on giving and putting the interests of others rather than getting for himself, he achieves more success. And I just find that it's so true, not only in business, but in life. The more you give, the more you get in return. So that's just a book that was a favorite of mine because it really resonated.
That's one of my favorite books too. I love it. How about you, Linda?
I think the Energy Bus is a must-do, and we hand that out to new agents joining our company. We have the good fortune of having John Gordon live in our community, and I think his entire series of books, you get such life lessons out of those books. I also, when it comes to training, I loved personally the Pacific Institute and put our management team through that. But most recently, we are big Ninja fans, and every agent coming into our company goes through the training of Ninja in our company. And it is, it's good personally and professionally, and it teaches you a great deal about yourself and how to handle your life and your family. So it's very inclusive and something I recommend to everyone.
Oh, wonderful. And I know that it is a tool that Ninja training is really very strong in the real estate industry, right? For the most part, which is great. as well. So, as we finish, tell me, what is your favorite quote or the advice that resonates with you that you want to share as we finish out? This is our last question, and I've so enjoyed having this time with y'all. I can't believe we're already done. So what quote would you would like to share with our audience, or something that resonates with you? Linda, I'll start with you.
Okay. There's so many, and that's a tough question too, just because there are so many. But I think for the broader audience, and I love this quote, it's from Pooh, and it says, "You are braver than you believe, you are stronger than you seem, and you are smarter than you think." And I think everyone can really appreciate that statement.
I think so too. I love that. Liz, how about you?
My favorite quote is one from Winston Churchill that I'm sure everyone is familiar with. It's, "You make a living by what you get, and you make a life by what you give." And it's kind of a theme here with both the book that I like and the quote. It's all about kind of putting things out there, giving for others, and then you get back tenfold.
Wow. Thank you so much. You both inspired me so much. And I really appreciate your insights today. I'm sure our audiences too. And I have to tell you, I learned so much from each of you, and also the takeaways. The books, are my favorite. The Go Giver, The Energy Bus, all of those books are fabulous. The training, and of course the quotes I also love. And I found this quote and I thought it was really great because I think it really talks about this. And I think you're really both going to love it. You're not here merely to make a living. You're here in order to enable the world to live more amply, with greater vision, with a finer spirit of hope and achievement. You are here to enrich the world, and you impoverish yourself if you forget this errand. And I thought that was so spot on by Woodrow Wilson, because I feel like both of you amplify the world that we're in. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I want to tell our audience, our next show is going to be on April 6th. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be talking to those leaders who are involved with foundations, who work in the foundation industry and really are go-givers, as you said, Liz, right? And I also want to impact 500 women this month. So I need your help so that we can get there. And I need it, and we can do it by subscribing to our podcast, which features amazing women who are making history, including, like I said, Leslie Ruda Smith and Christy Budnick, who are featured on the show. You can catch our podcast every other Wednesday. And of course, this show every once a month, the second Wednesday of the month. So it kind of alternates, right? And you can download the podcast on Apple, Spotify. You can use Google Podcasts or Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. We're available, Women Who Lead. And then also on this series, on this Facebook channel and YouTube as well. All right, well, goodbye, everybody. As you know, remember my favorite quote of all times, and that always, always bring other women up the ladder with you as you climb to the top. Thank you so much. And until next time,
Thank you.
keep achieving.
Thanks
everybody.
so much.